Hi, folks. Welcome for coming to us again, the Hot Seat Challenge for your secret sauce hint. For those of you who are visiting us for the first time, we thank you for your visit. For those of you who are coming back, we appreciate it even more. We sometimes start a little bit early so we can get things settled. For those who don't know who my name is, or who I am, my name is, I have to announce, this is a pre-recorded live podcast. That has to be. The reason I'm doing this is because my guest is from in Australia. It's a 15-hour time frame difference, and we just could not work out the logistics. Either he's up at 3 o'clock in the morning or I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That wasn't going to work on either side of the coin on this. So again, my name is Joe Wesley, and my guest today is
Stephen
Sue, yes?
My name is Stephen. So good to see you guys.
Fair enough. And actually what we've just shown here, this is not pre-rehearsed. This is pre-recorded. There's no script on this. I deliberately keep it dynamic, so it keeps it real. And the theme of this, for those who've seen us for the first time, I will start off by asking for the first about 20 minutes of this 30-minute session, what's your favorite pastime? Because we want to know more about who's this guy, Stephen. And then toward the end of that 30-minute period, we'll talk more about his business to get a flavor of it. And the expectation is you will discover something unique about Stephen Sue, CPA, that we didn't know about, and likely he didn't know about, and to show how his unique value of who he is, the person, provides a distinctive advantage over his competition to his ideal market. So that being said, we're now going to start live. And again, Stephen, thank you for being a guest today. So tell me, what's your favorite pastime?
Look, firstly, thank you for having me on your show. I know that we try a few times to make this work, and finally we made this work, which is really, really cool. It's a great time for you and great time for me, and I trust that it's going to be a great time for your audience as well. So my favorite pastime.
Susan, I'm going to interrupt. Sorry for that. Folks, You'll see me look down every now and then. I do take notes. Right now I have a clean slate here because when I provide my highlights observed, it doesn't stick in my head. So I have to make notes down. So just so you know why I'm glancing down every now and then. I'm sorry, Stephen, go ahead.
That's all right. It's a good, and I love that. I love that because when I go for seminars or any events at all, I'll be one of those people that write down, time and time again, like 10 pages, 12 pages. The more we write, the more we remember. So really, really cool there, Joseph. Really, really cool. My favorite pastime. It really depends on the day and the stage of life. So right now in these days, I'm not spending more time with my kids. It's really cool to help me to wind down and spend more time because my kids are growing up so quickly. I've got 2 young kids and they grow up so quickly. And I do not want, we all hear stories about, I should have done this when I was younger with my kids when they were younger. And I want to avoid that. And I'm consciously avoiding that as well. And I'm building my life around that part of the element that I want to spend more time and design the life that I want, to live, and not by default, right? So
I'm going to take you up on a point. I'm going to take you up on a point you just made. I should have done that before I was younger. So let's go back when you were younger, 5, 6, 7 years of age. I'm assuming you didn't have children at that age, yes? Okay. So that's a wild stab, folks. So what were the types of things you liked doing when you were that age category? Did you have a favorite or 2 favorites?
Yeah, I think it was 5, 6 years ago, right? That's only 10 years younger.
No,
right?
let me say this differently. I knew one guy who, from the day he was born, he wanted to be a fireman.
Yeah.
And he turned out to be a lawyer. Maybe that's the same thing when you think about it conceptually. So as a child, there are things we would do that we don't do like as an adult anymore. But I'm trying to get a sense of before you became involved in your business, your current family, that you had things perhaps you like doing as a pastime. And I'm asking if you had a favorite you can recall, maybe 1 or 2 favorites.
Yeah, so your question really, there's a few questions there. So your question is really about what I love doing when I was 5, 6 years old, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, look, I think there's a bit of a distant memory, maybe a couple of years ago. Look, really, the only thing that comes out for me, it's spending that quality time with my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things I really look forward. And I, to this day, I wish I have more time with my grandfather as well. Um, but
What was it about your grandfather you enjoyed
yeah,
being?
I missed that. Joseph, can you
I'm
repeat that?
sorry, what was it about your grandfather that you enjoyed the experience? What was
Yeah,
the?
so I was just going to get into it. So, we live in a town in Malaysia, all right?
Mhm.
So it's about, you know, um, an hour drive away from the main capital of Malaysia,
Okay.
right? And it's a town, and it's not a big town where everyone knows everyone. So the things I remember is when we would go out for breakfast in a cafe, and he knows everyone, and then I see how happy he is and talk to everyone and have an amazing breakfast. And then, like, what we normally do back in those days is, even to these days as well, he would then fight to pay for everyone for their
Hmm.
breakfast. And everyone does the same thing for him as well. And that level of friendship, right, trust, and knowing everyone as well. So, and that's really cool. And I really enjoy that, and spending time with him, and can talk to him, and bring me around as well. So that's what I remember when I was 5 6 years old, maybe probably a little bit older, but that's what I remember. But that's really cool, looking forward to to spending time with my grandparents or
I hear that.
grandfathers.
I'm going to ask a
Mm.
question. I know there's some children. I was on the airplane once, getting on and boarding, and a dad came in with his son. The son might have been 5 years of age, and he stopped at every seat and says hi. He wanted to do a fist bump with everybody. Were you those kind of people that you were interactive in the crowd around you, perhaps, or not?
I don't know. I don't recall. Probably I
Mm.
was to a few,
Mhm.
maybe not everyone in the cafe. Probably a few, But look, what I remember is that environment, the happiness. When you come in, people greet you by name. Have
Mhm.
a seat. This is your favorite cup of coffee, favorite cup of tea. What would you like for today? Do you like your usual breakfast? And having, knowing and having that deep rapport with people around you. Yeah,
Right.
and this owner as well. That's really, really cool.
I understand that, and that's nice. So
Mm,
let's say now you're 17 years of age. Did you have a
yeah.
favorite pastime then?
Wow. Favorite 17. What age was I? 17. What was I doing? I was just finished high school. Look, favorite pastime: going out, explore the world.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that I just finished high school. Going out, explore the world with my mates at high school. Traveling not overseas but around the region where I was in Malaysia, and
Okay.
traveling, and really explore and have some fun, and see the world and what we have not been seeing. The last before 17, right?
Right.
Those in back in those days. Um, traveling is not as easily accessible, at least not within Malaysia and not within my budget as well, right? So there weren't that many budget airlines in Malaysia. I don't think there was any. The only airline that you have, it was the national carrier,
Right.
and price can be a little bit more expensive than to our liking, right?
Hmm.
So we can take the bus, right, to get there, but the bus can only take you so far, right, but
Okay.
not across, right, the border kind of thing, or to overseas. So yeah, so look, having the opportunity to actually go out and explore, and see the world and get a bit more experience on that front. So that was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you say explore, were you like a Mother Nature kind of exploration, a city type exploration, or any of the above? Did you have a certain preference?
I think that we intentionally kept it agenda free. When
Okay.
you go to a place, go to the place, and because back in the when I was 17, Google wasn't a big thing, right? I don't think Google was actually there yet, right? So the internet wasn't a big thing, at least in my time, in the environment that I was in.
Right.
So just going to a new place, explore the city, the culture, the people, or back to the mother nature, whatever it is. So
Right.
to really go out and a blank piece of paper and explore and start coloring it, right? And
Hmm.
without having that predefined agenda. I think that is really cool. Um, Come to think of it, that's an amazing intention to have.
How
Yeah,
so?
yeah, absolutely.
No, I asked you said it's an amazing. I'm saying how so amazing.
Oh, how so amazing! So that you can explore and enjoy, right? You don't
Okay,
have that predefined expectation. You don't have the predefined, you know, limitation that you put on. It's like, oh, I'm going for Mother Nature, but what if it starts raining every day? Then you get, you know, you don't enjoy that. If you're coming in without any predefined agenda, if it's
right,
raining, okay, cool, I'm going to be indoor. If it's sunny, let's go out. You know,
okay,
and keep it fluid and enjoy the experience. So
right.
cool.
Okay. Now, did you take pictures as part of your travel, or not? I have no idea. Some people are
Yeah,
avid.
yeah. I think we took pictures. I think back in those days where um, I was a lot more self-conscious. You know,
Okay,
I was thinking, oh, I don't look good in the picture. So instead of taking pictures of myself in this situation, I took pictures of scenery,
I
right?
understand.
And yeah, so I do take a few pictures, but you know, those days, if you take one picture, if you don't like it, you have to stick with it because you know you can't delete it, right?
You're
You
right.
know,
Usually the person holding the, well, today it's different. You can hold the camera at yourself and take the group around you. But back in the day, it was anybody. I was never in my pictures either because it was always my shooting somebody else.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And then these days you can put into AI and make it better as well. Lighting, everything, you make it perfect, right? But those
mhm.
days, like you take it, you don't like it, you just stick with it. But yeah, I think we do take quite a few pictures there. But I'm not too sure where those pictures are these days.
Fair enough. I'm sure mine got lost in the bed and underneath the bed and dissolved from ages ago. So let me ask you this: how did you get started on the path to where you are now?
Yeah, I was in the corporate world, and you know, doing what I'm doing actually right now. What I'm doing, but instead of doing for my own business, I was doing in the corporate world. And there was a change in management. Right, I'm going to cut down all the intricacies of it, but
Let
there
me
is.
backtrack. Before you talk about changing management, I'm assuming by then you had a job or profession you were involved in. But
Yeah.
before that point, did you wake up one day and got zapped by lightning and says, I got to be what I do? Or was there a sequence of steps that you took to get to where you are ultimately now to get
Yeah,
started?
no, I don't think there was any zap or anything. So it just, you know, following the path of many people would have followed, right? And I was one of them. Looking at my grades at school.
Excuse me,
Um,
were you a math major or a science major or a philosophy major in school?
yeah, I was just going to get into
No, no,
it.
no, I'm asking though. Some people major in mathematics. I majored in biology. Did you have a
Mm.
major when you were in school?
No, no, we don't have it. So there was a couple of options to take. You can,
Okay,
you know, be a major because in Malaysia the schooling systems is a little bit different from the one in the US, right?
right.
So you can take a major or you can choose to be more generic if you're
Okay,
not too sure which one major that you want to go to. Yeah.
right.
And looking at my grades, you know, accounting was my best grade of the
Okay,
worst. Yeah. You know, which is really good. And you know, and the logical thing was to actually explore that option of going into the accounting side. And that's the path that I've gone into, and you know, got my degree in accounting, and you know,
I'm
in
going to interrupt again. I'm
well,
sorry. I'm going to interrupt again. I'm sorry. Now I have a few biases. Some I'll share publicly. I don't consider accounting an art form of exploration. So what is it that grabbed you about accounting that made sense to you? Rephrase that. Accounting
again,
to me is numbers and negatives and positives, and it should all balance out. Is that the exploration factor of it? Because you present yourself as someone that likes the unknown, you like the exploration, but I consider accounting by the book, detailed, focused, defined. So I'm trying to reconcile what drew you and what you did best in terms of your joy of exploration. Am I missing something on that? I'm asking.
no, I think everyone has their own definition of what accounting, what biology, what physics is all about, right?
Okay,
Um, Sometimes you know accounting interests certain parts, you know, certain people, and biology, you know, interests certain people as well. So
right,
it's really about you know going into accounting, and that's what I did, right? Going into the accounting without any blank piece of paper. Like
right.
we know accounting in theory, in principle. Surely there's you know more to learn over the next 3 years, not just a
Okay.
number.
All
right? You're
right.
going to take it, a couple of days, right? So it's
Mhm.
really important to not having any predefined,
Oh.
perception or agenda. If you have it, which is great, let's keep your mind open and do a bit more understanding as well, and being curious about what it's all about. And like I said, and I was using that as a mindset and focus as well. At the same time, accounting was my best subjects, right, at school. So like, that seems to be logical steps forward. And I took that opportunity to actually go into accounting and find out more about what accounting is and what's not, right? And
Mhm.
so got out of uni from accounting side, and got my master's degree in accounting and business as well. And and then move on into being an accountant in multinational like GE, for example, right?
Right.
Part of a GE corporate environment. Um, and I move on from a GE to a local bank, we call it Big Four here, like a pillar, right, of financial
Sure.
institution in
Sure.
Australia.
Now, are you still
Um,
doing accounting? Are you still doing accounting as a primary business, or is there something else that you're doing in addition to that?
right now,
Yes.
yeah.
We're now current. So are you is your primary business accounting, or is your primary business something else?
Now I am a certified CPA.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand the accounting side, the business side, but I don't provide advice on accounting. I don't
Right.
provide. I don't do accounting as such. Now, in my business, what I do is that I don't look at numbers, and I leave that, and I do it intentionally. I leave that for the accountant.
Okay.
And what I do is that I would do what the accountants do not provide.
Right.
And that's really cool because I have the knowledge of what accountant does,
Hmm.
right? And I fill the gap for those, for my clients to actually fill up so that they get the numbers, they get the profit in the end. Yeah. And that's what I do. I increase profit for the businesses by not looking at profits, because
Right.
the profit is a byproduct of what happened upstream,
Okay.
like communication, leadership, right? Risk management. You got to manage your risk so that you don't get higher rate of refunds, higher rate of cancellation. Right, that's
Right.
all the risk for the business. It depends on what business that you have. Yeah,
Right.
and one of the things that I also help with my clients as well is really cool. Is this one here? Look, systems, right, in the business. Now, systems not just a business, but for ourselves, we are in a condition in a certain way,
Hmm.
and because of the conditioning of what we had in the past, that has given us the result at the moment, whether it's a good, it's a bad, or it's not growing. So we have
Right.
to change the conditioning so that you can grow more, you can break through your challenge. And that's what I
Right.
do as well, to break through the conditioning so that whatever strategies that we put in place, it can be executed better. It's more sustainable.
Right.
Yeah, and that's something that the accountants don't provide, and that's
Okay.
where the number comes in, and then the accountant is like, okay, cool, your books are great, you got great sales, you got high profits, you got really good cash in your business. What's next, right? So I leave that to the accountant, and also if you have a financial advisor or financial advisor to actually help you to manage your cash,
Right.
but I look at it before that.
Interesting. Well,
Mm.
I'm checking my time, folks, to make sure we're on track here. I'm going to ask a few more questions, and because I begin to see a pattern, I'd like to share with you my observation. This is when I refer to the clean sheet
Interested.
that
Yeah,
began
great.
before the clean sheet. Now it has stuff of written on it syndrome here.
Love it.
Excuse me. If I understand correctly, as a young child, you enjoyed being with your grandfather, in part because he shared an experience with you, that you were in an environment of fellowship, of engagement. It's like almost like an extended family, if I heard it correctly. People know people by first names. People do for each other to share back and forth. And it's the warmth of that experience that you enjoy doing. Now, a little bit older, you traveled. And I think the traveling encouraged you to, I'm assuming, and you'll give me feedback on that. But again, it's to explore, to experience new things that one could easily, I guess, stay in one's local community and live with that, I guess. But that wasn't enough for you. You had to go out beyond the norm, the normal cause of events or paths, to look at something brand new. And where that might scare somebody off, you were seemingly drawn into it, if I heard you correctly on that. Now, and again, it comes back, it's not just the traveling. I think I got the impression you do it with your friends also. There was a group of you or a cluster of you that would travel. So we're back to family-like environment again. We're back to exploration again, of engagement again, and that seems to be an important part of who you are. You did start off by talking about spending time with family, and I kind of bumped you back to a younger age group. But again, I'm sharing with you the sense of what I see. And by the way, if you're exploring new areas, traveling, there's going to be challenges. You may not know the best place to walk or talk or eat or whatever it might be. You have to engage your people around you that you're bumping into to get a better sense of where you are and where you're going. So now we're talking about your business of sorts. You began as a CPA, accounting perhaps, because that's the progress, and you go into becoming a CPA. Having done that, you make it a deliberate point to state that CPAs, and I'm sorry if I'm mixing up the terminology, because knowing an accountant is not a CPA per se, it's a higher level of functioning. But having said that, you make the point that CPAs will, in a traditional manner, reach a certain limit, how they define their role, and the sense of accomplishment. And there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. Hey, the books came out well, you did good. I showed you how you might save a little bit here, how you might cut expenses there. And if your client comes out better as a result on an income side, a tax basis side, then they should be happy. For you, that's not enough, if I heard you correctly. You want to take it a little, somewhat further than that. That will let the CPAs and the accountants worry about the bookkeeping and how well it's balanced in your favor. That there are things that come to your mind of value to your client, your market, that will give your audience a better sense of going beyond just the numbers, that there are other things you might consider doing. Again, when it comes to exploration, when it comes to engagement, and you engage your audience, that's important, whether they're engaging or not automatically. Part of what you do is you like the challenge of something different, if I'm hearing it correctly. Am I far off so far?
No, you are very spot on. It's about, exploration, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
and also looking at from an end-to-end perspective, because
Right.
we know, anything that we do, there's always upstream and downstream impact.
Mm-hmm.
And really understanding appreciation and embracing that view, and that's where you can then drive more happiness, growth, fulfillment.
Right.
Yeah, especially in business, because I think many of us who goes into business by choice,
Mm-hmm.
right? The choice of free will, right? And that we want to go into business to do something different, to add more value and make a difference.
Right.
And how can we then take it to the next level to make greater impact, to make greater difference, right? To have more changes in the community. So that's really cool. But by just looking at numbers, it just gives you one part of the view, but it doesn't give you the holistic part of the view.
Right.
And it all starts from within,
Okay.
which is from the business owner
Fair
and the
enough.
team members as well.
Right. So
Looking
the
at
so
the
the so the advantage I'm hearing here is that when you work with a client, or when they work with you, it's really a two-way street, that they can anticipate meeting more than simply keeping ahead of the tax people, you might say, or more than simply having the books balance in their favor. And I made a comment that it's not so much that you work on profit, you work on better performance. And I think performance is a broader sense of value for your business. Is that a fair statement on my part?
100%. And it's about the performance, and
Mm-hmm.
how do you define performance, at what level, right? Because performance is it's KPI, right? Key performance indicators.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at it from a number perspective? Are you measuring it against the health, the mental health, the emotional health of your staff members, of yourself? And
Right.
that's something that is always get missed by many business owners, right? If you look at the accounting side of it,
Right.
the KPIs, right? Sales targets and all. But what about your emotional health, your mental health, which is really important to have that sustainable growth? And then comes back down to what I mentioned earlier on about reconditioning, the conditioning that you have, so you can gain growth more, right? Be a better leader, create more leaders, right? Internally within your firm, your business, and also attract more quality people into your business as well.
I hear that. But it sounds like almost like you're more of a coach than you are a CPA persona.
Yes, I am a coach, a consultant. Yes,
Okay?
and I use skill as a CPA to actually drive that. So to give them the numbers, so that when they meet their accountants or tax accountants, right? So that
Right.
okay, I know what to expect, and so you have that accountants to validate your understanding.
It sounds like we have I don't know what it's like in Australia, but in the States, we have a custom in marketing. They'll say, buy one, get one free, or two for the price of one. You seem like you're one of those kind of guys that you get a CPA plus you get the bonus of what you do as a coach also, yes?
Absolutely. Look, the thing is, it's not so much of buy one, get one free, but I don't think there's many people in the market that has that in-depth end-to-end view.
Mm-hmm.
And the and working with the client with the best interest to have that end-to-end view and understanding, appreciating what needs to change, what really needs to change, so you have the sustainable growth and profitability as well.
Mm-hmm. I hear that, and that's an interesting concept. That we look at your title. Besides coaching, you're a founder and investor. How does that fit into what you do? You say, I'm looking at the title versus what I just heard, and I think I'm still missing something here. What am I missing about what you do?
I don't think you're missing anything. So I'm a founder of my own business that is given investor, because look, we are always investing. We are always growing ourselves. So it's the same for me as well. I'm investing my own growth, investing my business, investing my time to help others. It's all about investing. So I'm an investor myself, right? Apart from building my my future plan as well, I'm always investing to grow the business, to grow myself, to grow my clients.
I hear that. I was about to make the connection you just made, an observation that the whole concept here of exploration in terms of going beyond what one is accustomed to, perhaps, that you take personal what you reflect out to the world around you. That, again, my bias about accountants, maybe even CPAs, that they have a four-wall room that everything is defined. As long as the numbers come out good, they've done their job well. But for you, no, that's not enough. That let's go out there and look at things you might do, you've not considered, if I'm hearing you correctly. Yes, the financial basis is a foundation of the viability of what you're doing, but it's also not the limitation of what you might do. That there are things one can do better as a result. And assuming I'm correct on that, then a person who's looking, because there are a lot of CPAs out there, and why would one choose you?
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing, somebody would choose you because they're looking for something. You can have a coach in this, you can have a consultant in that, you can have your numbers person, your CPA, but you kind of offer an accumulation of the best of what each has to offer. That you have your CPA, you have your skills in that category, you have an intrinsic desire to explore and to grow and to improve yourself. So for people, business owners who are looking for something more than simply keeping the books balanced, I could see you would be a go-to guy for them, that someone's actually looking to grow their business beyond just the numbers. Is that reasonable observation or not?
It's very, very reasonable, Joseph, and thank you for summarizing that. That's really cool. If I can steal that, that would be amazing.
This is a soundbite break. See, Post, I know what I'm doing here. Thank you.
Yes, never a shadow of doubt, Joseph. Never a shadow of doubt. Look, you're absolutely spot on there. It's about looking at numbers that gives you an indication, right? And there's one indication. Let's look at something else as well to have that.
Because of time, I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry for that. But folks, what I'd like to do is a commercial break. Further details about Stephen is in the discussion part of our presentation with Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Anything more you'd like to learn about him, please contact him. Remember to contact me if you'd like to learn more about what I'm doing, and we'd like to be a member of our Hot Seat Challenge. And please leave comments. We do audit them, and we get back in response to you. We try to stay on clock time, but actually 30 minutes. We did that pretty well.
Wow.
Thank you for visiting us. Anything you'd like to say to take us home with, Stephen, as a final comment?
Final comments is, hey, so good to be on your show. Love to connect with a wider audience here. Send me a connection request and love to connect. And look, absolutely, if you've got any questions, please reach out to Joseph. He knows how to contact me as well.
Fair enough. I think we developed a friendship here as a starting point, if nothing else. Folks, thanks for visiting, and please come back and join us again. And by all means, share your